jump on live today. It's Sunday, and I was listening to a couple amazing YouTube videos and some podcasts on a drive where I was visiting some friends, and this one idea came to mind that I wanted to talk about, and that is how often we're holding a mirror up to ourselves and really taking a look at who we are, how we're living our life, how we're thinking, how we're feeling, how we're making choices. And it brought up this whole idea of self-awareness. And I know that so many of us out there, we always think that we know ourselves probably better than anyone else, right? But a lot of times we throw on blinders and we try to bury the realities of what our life is really like. What are those things that we know we shouldn't be doing or know we shouldn't be thinking, but we do it anyway. And a lot of times we bury that because we don't have anybody else holding that mirror up to our face for us. And that's kind of having people on the outside, having mentors, or listening to different influencers, or even having honest conversations with our loved ones, our family, our friends, who will tell us really what's up. That's like the tough love. In my podcast this week, I share a personal story of my own, and I'm talking about when someone held a mirror up to my face 5 years ago, and they said, "Is this really who you are?" And I wasn't happy with my answer. And it was at that point when this person was actually willing to challenge me, was willing to push me, was willing to, question my excuses and call bullshit. And so from that moment on, I realized that I had been really neglecting to look at myself and to make changes that I needed to make. I needed somebody calling bullshit on my excuses. I needed somebody challenging me and pushing me. And that was the self-awareness that started to change my life. And so I'm seeing a couple people on from Italy, from Roma, and I wanted to make sure that, even my international friends who, might speak a different language, but also know English and, are coming on live and checking out some of these videos. But we can all have a universal, it doesn't matter where we live in the world, we all got to have that universal ability to be self-aware, but not just on our own terms. Like, no, I'm good. I've been looking at myself, evaluating what's up, I'm not making excuses. I'm working hard, right? But to get that mentorship and take it to the next level, that's when we really get serious. That's when we actually say, you know what? I'm actually going to work on myself. I'm willing to look deeper. I'm willing to let somebody else look at me and say, hey, what's up with that? Why isn't that getting done? Why are you afraid of that? What's holding you back from doing this? That mentorship changed my life. And you know what? I think so many of us fear mentorship, and they fear someone else giving us advice or giving us tools or asking us the tough questions because we don't really want to be fully aware of our weaknesses. I had so many weaknesses when I was young in my career and I was really trying to build a business, and there were so many things that I wore a heavy coat of armor to protect my image. I wore a heavy coat of armor to protect my weaknesses. I didn't want anyone to know about my weaknesses. But then I figured it out because I realized, I'm not growing anymore because I'm not letting anyone in. I'm not letting anyone see my flaws, see the holes in my lifestyle. Because when they do, that's going to require me to change. That's going to require me to work and to make a lot of effort to fill those holes, to strengthen those weaknesses. But we can do it. We can absolutely do it. It's getting over that fear of what other people will think. It's getting over that fear that we might not have it all figured out. And we don't want anyone to know that we don't got it all figured out, right? We got to go in and we've got to say, I'm willing to look at myself in that mirror, and I'm willing to get that feedback. That's hard, man. And so if you haven't taken that first step, I want you to jump into my 3 Steps to Unstoppable training, because it's a free training that I created that gives you a little taste of my mentorship. And it gives you a little taste of what it is that I do in my 4-week mentorship program, and how I challenge and how I ask the tough questions and how we bring out some of those weaknesses and we start to really look in the mirror at ourselves. And we stop being afraid of those imperfections, and we stop being afraid of where there's holes and where we need to do the work. Because if we keep on fearing that and we never really tackle it, we don't go there in full force, there's no way that we can get better. And maybe you don't care to get better, so this isn't for you, right? If you don't care, you don't want to like get better in your life, you don't really have any goals you're striving for, you just are perfectly set where you are, this isn't for you. But I know that so many of you want to get better. You want to elevate your life in multiple ways across the board. There's like 10 different areas of our life that we all want to have joy and fulfillment and success. And I know that for most people, if they don't become more aware of where these holes are in their lifestyle, if they don't become more aware of what fears are holding them back, more aware of weaknesses preventing them from taking action or preventing them from being productive, preventing them from having true love in their life, preventing them from having fulfillment and joy, those things don't just happen for people. It takes a lot of work. You might have some natural gifts. I had a lot of natural gifts growing up. You know, I was very hardworking. I learned that at a young age, just like if you don't work, you don't make money, you don't do anything you want to do. That's what I learned when I was a kid. So I learned that you have to work for everything. Nothing was handed to me. Nothing was given to me. So I learned you got to work. You got to make this. That way you can get what you want. So I did that for many years. I said, okay, got to be disciplined. You got to do the work. You got to make the money. You got to make the success. You can't have anything in your life if you don't work for it. So I did. But then there came a time when I stopped growing and I was really tired and I felt like I had nothing more to give, like the hard work stuff just like wasn't working anymore. And why? Because there were other holes that weren't being filled along the way. There were weaknesses I had never been developing. There were strengths that I had that needed more strengthening. I wasn't investing in all these other areas of my life outside of hard work and dedication. I needed to take a good look in the mirror, my friends. Ask yourself this question today. Am I willing to look in the mirror? Am I willing to become more aware of the weaknesses and the holes in my lifestyle so I can start doing the work and not be afraid of it, but to go after it one at a time? So I hope you'll take action. You'll jump into my free 3 Steps to Unstoppable training. You'll start asking yourself some tough questions.